The courtroom felt frozen. Oak panels lined the walls, their darkness soaking up the weak sunlight. Every tiny noise seemed loud, bouncing off the high ceiling. Meri sat up front, hands clenched so tight her knuckles were white. Her eyes were steady, but you could see a flicker of fear. Years of secrets and arguments had come down to this. Across the way, Kody shifted, messing with his tie like it would fix things. Next to him, Robyn looked pale, gripping the table like she was trying to hold herself together. Christine sat in the back, looking hard. She wasn't there to play nice. She was there to see the truth come out. Janelle, beside Christine, looked calmer, but her jaw tightened every time Kody moved. The judge cleared their throat, breaking the silence. Court is now in session. Everyone sit down and be respectful. The gavel banged, and suddenly you could cut the tension with a knife. The clerk walked over with a sealed envelope. The judge said, "The court got a sealed file that needs to be opened today. It'll be presented when the testimony starts." Everyone's head snapped toward the envelope. Even Kody looked nervous. His foot started tapping like crazy. Robyn glanced at him, looking panicked, and Christine smirked. Meri took a breath, trying to stay strong. She stood up, her hands relaxed, her back straightened, and she suddenly looked like she meant business. As she walked to the stand, everyone stared. "Your Honor," Meri said, her voice steady. "I'm here to tell the real story. The cameras didn't show it all. It's a story of lies and choices made in secret that hurt many in the family. It's time for the truth." Her words hung in the air. Kody's face went white. Robyn swallowed hard. Christine leaned forward, excited, while Janelle's hands clenched. The judge looked curious. Meri glanced at the envelope and smirked a tiny bit. She knew what was coming. She started talking about the early years, the doubts, the secret talks, the subtle ways her life got twisted around. She spoke clearly, remembering every detail. Late-night phone calls, quick looks between Kody and Robyn, private meetings she wasn't invited to. Kody shifted. He didn't look so calm anymore. Robyn's lips parted, but she said nothing. The courtroom was silent. Meri's story got intense. She described how fake things were. "Sometimes," she said quietly, "I realized the show wasn't real. Things were decided without me knowing. But I'm not quiet now." Her voice got stronger. Every word hit hard. Christine looked excited, and Janelle tried to hide what she was feeling. Meri started talking about the evidence she had. Documents, emails, photos, all hidden away. She said each piece told a story that didn't match what Kody and Robyn had been saying. Her hands shook, but her voice didn't. The room was focused. Everyone staring at the envelope, holding their breath, listening closely. Then she dropped a bomb. "In that envelope," she said, pointing, "is proof that some of the kids aren't how they seem, and some choices weren't honest. The truth is shocking." Kody's chair creaked. Robyn swallowed hard. The judge raised an eyebrow. Christine tried not to smile too much. Janelle's hand trembled. Meri paused, looking at everyone in the room. Then she looked down, taking a breath. She knew what she was about to say was powerful. The clerk moved closer with the envelope, but the judge said to leave it on the desk for now. The tension was crazy. Meri sat back, her fingers twisted together, and started talking about the little things that led to this. Arguments in the kitchen, hidden papers, secrets whispered. Each word built the case. It was about lies, strength, and finding the truth. Even small things said a lot. Kody's fists under the table, Robyn's quick breaths, Christine's quiet smiles. Janelle barely hid her nerves. Meri's voice softened, but she still sounded strong. She talked about feeling ignored and hurt, but she wasn't just feeling sorry for herself. She was showing how big the lies had been. As the first part ended, the judge leaned forward. "Ms. Brown, you've talked about the past. Before we go on, what evidence are you going to show us?" Meri pointed at the envelope. Her voice was calm but sure. "Your Honor, the evidence speaks for itself. When it's opened, everyone will know the truth." The room held its breath. Kody's face was white. Robyn looked like she might run. Christine looked excited. Janelle squeezed her hands tight. The envelope sat there, looking simple, but holding years of secrets. Everyone felt it. The quiet before the storm. As Meri went back to her seat, she knew this wasn't just about evidence, but about everyone in the room facing the truth. And the people watching at home had no idea what was coming. Meri is on the stand, hands steady, but you can tell she's a wreck inside. The courtroom feels super heavy, like everyone knows something big is about to drop. Kody's squirming, looking over at Robyn like he needs her to tell him it's all okay. Robyn's fingers are drumming on the table like crazy, she's panicking. Christine's leaning in, all eyes on Meri like she's waiting for her chance. Janelle's just sitting there, stiff as a board, waiting for the whole thing to blow up. Meri puts her hands on the edge of the stand and looks right at the judge. Her voice is quiet at first, almost like she's thinking out loud, but you can hear the steel in it. For years I've been watching decisions get made in this family without me even knowing, she says. I've seen promises get broken, alliances change, and secrets get buried, all while we were pretending to be one big happy family for the cameras. Today, I'm here to dig up those secrets. The judge nods for her to keep going, and the whole room seems to lean in. Everyone's eyes are on her, holding their breath. Kody moves again, even more obvious this time, and Robyn grabs his arm like she's trying to keep him from floating away. Meri starts with the early days, the quiet fights, the little ways they pushed each other's buttons, the decisions that were made in secret. She tells stories the cameras never caught. Phone calls late at night, where promises got broken. Whispers that changed the family in ways no one else would understand. And deals made behind closed doors. She names names and dates, making sure everyone knows how serious this is. Her voice starts to get louder, like a drumbeat getting faster. I know this is shocking, she says, looking straight at Kody. I know a lot of you never questioned what you saw on TV. But the real story is way more complicated. There are papers, recordings, and proof that say the opposite of what you've been told, and what we, the family, have been told. Kody's face gets tight. He clenches his jaw, and his fingers tap on the table. Robyn looks at him, swallows hard, and presses her lips together. Christine leans forward a little, looking satisfied, and Janelle's eyes jump to Meri, like she's both excited and scared. Meri goes on, talking about secret meetings between Kody and Robyn, saying they planned everything to make themselves look good and control the story. She says she heard them planning how the family would look on camera, what stories they'd tell, and what they'd keep hidden. Her words are like knives, sharp and on purpose, leaving no room for doubt. Robyn moves in her seat, her eyes getting narrow, and she starts breathing fast. Kody's face turns white, and he clenches his hands like he's trying not to explode. The courtroom is tense, everyone caught up in what's happening. Even the judge leans forward, interested but careful, knowing this isn't like anything they've heard before. Meri lowers her voice, making the room feel small and secret. There were times, she says, when I realized that what we were showing the world wasn't just incomplete. It was meant to fool people. Things were said, things were done, all to make a fake version of what the family was, while keeping other people quiet. The tension in the room is about to break. Kody leans back, closing his eyes for a second, like he's trying to get away. Robyn's hands are gripping the table so hard her knuckles are white. Christine presses her lips into a line, and Janelle shifts, like she can't wait to see what happens next. Meri starts talking about how she collected evidence, emails, photos, papers, stuff she's kept safe all these years. She says each thing tells a story that the cameras weren't allowed to see. She describes secret money deals, private talks, and meetings that make you wonder about Kody and Robyn's public claims. Then she stops. The room goes quiet. Even the clerk stops moving papers. And there's one more thing, she says, her voice quiet and serious. Something that will change everything about how you see this family. It's in the envelope on the judge's desk. It's DNA evidence, proof that can't be ignored, changed, or hidden. Kody's head shoots up, his eyes wide. Robyn gasps, a tiny sound that you can hear in the quiet room. Christine leans forward, almost bursting at the seams, and Janelle sits stiff, her heart pounding. The judge stays calm, but you can feel the weight of what she said in the air. Meri's eyes go around the room, stopping for a second on each face. She talks to Kody first. I'm not here to ruin you, she says, her voice steady but strong. I'm here to tell the truth. The family we all thought we knew isn't what it seems. The decisions, the deals, the ways people were played. They all have results. And now, you're going to understand them. Robyn fidgets, looking at Kody like she needs him to say something, but he doesn't. Christine watches carefully, her face hard to read, but her eyes are shining. Janelle stays still, but her hand shakes a little as she holds onto the chair. Meri tells one last awful story, something she says was completely hidden from the public. A time when Robyn and Kody decided something about a kid's future without talking to the family, something that if people knew, would change how they saw the whole family. The courtroom is uneasy, as everyone thinks about what that really means. The judge leans forward, his voice calm but serious. "Ms. Brown, you've made some serious claims. Are you ready to show us this DNA evidence now?" Meri nods. Her hands are on the stand, steady and sure. "Yes, Your Honor. The evidence can't be denied. It will speak for itself." And as the envelope is about to be opened, everyone in the room can feel it, the tension, the fear, and the feeling that the truth could break everything. The clerk moves forward, slowly picking up the envelope. The judge watches carefully, then tells them to leave it on the desk for now. The room holds its breath. Kody sits still, Robyn's lips part a little, and Christine smiles a tiny satisfied smile. Janelle holds onto the arms of her chair, her knuckles white. Meri steps back a little, looking calm, almost peaceful, but you can tell she's feeling a lot inside. Years of waiting, years of planning, years of seeing lies, all coming together in this moment. She knows that once the envelope is opened, nothing will be the same. And as the first part of her testimony ends, the tension hangs in the air. Everyone in the courtroom feels it, the quiet before things blow up, the calm before the storm, the seconds before the truth can't be avoided anymore. The envelope waits, the courtroom waits, and the world outside, it has no idea what's coming. Okay, here's that courtroom drama, rewritten to sound more like a human wrote it. The courtroom air was thick enough to cut with a knife as Robyn stood up. She seemed unsure at first, like a dancer who'd forgotten the steps, but the second she headed for the stand, you could feel the shift in the room. Kody stared at her, eyes wide, like he thought they might burst into flames. Robyn's hands shook a little, but she quickly clasped them together, trying to hide how stressed she was. Christine leaned forward, eyes shining, ready for anything. Janelle straightened up, jaw tight, waiting for her version of the truth to come out. The judge told everyone to be quiet, and the room went dead silent. You could hear your own heart beating. Robyn cleared her throat, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft at first, but it got stronger as she went on. "Your Honor, this isn't right," she said, her voice cracking. "I've tried for years to be a good wife, the stable one in this family. And now I'm being accused of things I didn't do, things I never meant to do." She glanced at Meri, barely hiding her anger. "Mrs. Brown has tried to make me look like I'm sneaky, like I'm always plotting something, but that's not how it is. I've been trying to keep this family together." Kody fidgeted, whispering something. Robyn leaned closer to him, like just being near him could protect her. But everyone in the courtroom was watching her now, and she knew she had to put on a show. She chose her words carefully, trying to get people to feel sorry for her and not believe Meri. She talked about times she'd given up things for herself, late nights where she claimed she'd kept the family from falling apart. She tried to make herself look like the calm one when everything was crazy, a victim of things she couldn't control. Her voice shook a little, and she even teared up, but it felt like she was doing it on purpose. Christine watched, looking annoyed, and Janelle studied her, trying to see if she was telling the truth. But then, Robyn messed up. While she was trying to make herself look good and make Meri look bad, she started talking about something that happened years ago. A fight between Kody, herself, and someone else in the family. Her eyes went wide when she realized she'd said something she shouldn't have. The courtroom went silent. Kody froze, gripping the table. Meri smiled like she knew something. Janelle shifted in her seat, sensing what was happening, even though she didn't know all the details. The judge leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. "Mrs. Brown, could you explain what you just said?" Robyn swallowed hard, her mouth dry, and looked at Kody. He wouldn't look at her, staring at the floor. Robyn hesitated, then kept going, her voice shaky but steady. "It was just a misunderstanding," she said, but she didn't sound like she meant it. You could feel the tension in the air. Trying to fix what she'd said only made things worse. Meri sat back, eyes sharp, taking everything in. Everyone in the courtroom was hooked, seeing the cracks in Robyn's story. Robyn shifted, pulled herself together, and changed her tone, softer now, almost begging, like she wanted everyone to understand. "I've tried to protect this family," she said, tears in her eyes. "I've tried to be the calm one. And now it feels like everything I've done is being used against me." The judge listened, not showing anything, but the tension in the room kept building. Kody fidgeted, looking at an envelope sitting on the desk. Robyn followed his eyes, then looked back at the judge, like that would make her story sound more believable. Meri, though, stayed calm, almost too calm, letting Robyn talk while she planned her next move. She knew that Robyn's story had holes, little things that didn't add up, that she could use to tear it apart. Robyn kept talking, saying that Meri changed what really happened. She tried to twist things around to make herself look like the victim, the one keeping the family together when it was falling apart. Her voice shook, but you could see she was scared, desperate, and realized that people might not believe her. Talking about a private conversation, she mentioned something that only Kody and one other family member could have known. Her eyes widened as she realized what she'd done. Christine leaned forward, listening to every word. Janelle's eyes narrowed, trying to figure out what it all meant. The judge frowned, looking from Robyn to Kody. "Mrs. Brown," he said carefully, "are you saying that these things happened without anyone else in this family knowing?" Robyn hesitated, like she was going to say something, but nothing came out. Kody shifted, angry, but couldn't stop what was happening. The courtroom was so quiet, it was almost painful. She took a breath, making her voice sound calm, but it was too late. The judge nodded, like he understood, but her mistake was still hanging in the air. Everyone could feel the tension. Robyn changed her way of attack. She started questioning Meri's reasons, saying she was jealous, bitter, and wanted to break up the family. Her voice got louder, and for a moment it seemed like she was back in control. But Meri stayed calm, just looking at her. Her silence was as powerful as talking. It made everyone think about what she'd already said. Christine watched closely, noticing everything, every little hesitation, every time Robyn's voice changed. Janelle leaned back, waiting for the moment when everything would change. The tension got worse as Robyn told one last story, a story that was supposed to make her look good, but instead showed too much. Everyone leaned in, Kody's jaw tight. Robyn swallowed, trying to finish with dignity, but everyone could see that her story didn't make sense. Finally, Robyn sat down, worn out, her tears real now that it was all over. She looked at Kody, but he wouldn't look at her, clearly upset. The courtroom seemed to relax a little, the tension easing up but not gone. She knew that Robyn's story had fallen apart, and that things were about to get worse. The envelope, the proof from DNA, the secrets, all of it was waiting on the judge's desk. As the session ended, the judge spoke with authority. "We'll take a break until the next witness is called. But remember this, everything said here is being recorded, and everything you say has results." Robyn shook, grabbing the arms of her chair, like she was getting ready for the storm. Kody leaned back, looking annoyed, muttering to himself. Christine seemed happy, and Janelle's eyes were glued to the envelope, like she wanted it to tell its secrets. The courtroom went quiet as Christine stood up. She moved with purpose, not like Robyn, who seemed unsure. Christine just walked, and everyone paid attention. Her reflection shone on the floor as she walked tall, daring anyone to challenge her. Kody shifted in his seat, his jaw tight. He looked a little worried, which wasn't normal for him. Robyn fidgeted next to him, clearly bothered by Christine's attitude. Janelle sat up a bit straighter, watching quietly. She held her hands in her lap, but you could tell she was tense. Meri was already sitting, silently watching with her lips pressed together. She knew what was coming. Christine's voice held a lot of weight, like she knew secrets and had been quiet for too long. The judge nodded for Christine to speak. "Ms. Brown," he said calmly, "please start your testimony." Christine took a breath. Her voice was firm, confident, and full of emotion. "I've seen decisions in this family that I didn't agree with, choices that hurt not just us, but our kids. But I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut to keep the peace. But peace built on lies isn't really peace. It's just being silent. And today, I won't be silent anymore." Everyone in the room shifted. Kody gripped the table tightly. Robyn's eyes got wide, looking scared and annoyed. Meri leaned forward a little, already knowing how big Christine's testimony would be. Janelle pressed her lips together, narrowing her eyes as she studied every little thing, every pause. Christine started talking about things the cameras never showed. Money problems, secret talks, emotional games, and times when decisions were made without everyone agreeing. She sounded matter-of-fact at times, but then her voice would get sharp with emotion as she remembered painful things. Things that shaped the family, but nobody else knew about. She paused to let people take it in. "There were times," she went on, her voice shaking now, "when I saw the people I trusted change stories, rewrite what happened, and make choices in private that hurt our kids. They decided who would be the favorite, and made plans, but I said nothing." Kody's face tightened up. Robyn swallowed hard. Meri's eyes shone with a little happiness. Janelle tapped the armrest, like she was getting ready for what was next. Christine's voice got louder, and she sounded angry. The secrets didn't stop there. "I've seen proof, emails, letters, papers, that don't match what they said, that show decisions made in secret, with nobody held responsible, and I kept those things, knowing I'd need them to tell the truth." The judge leaned forward, putting his fingers together. "Ms. Brown, are you ready to show this proof?" Christine nodded, her eyes steady. "Yes, Your Honor. The proof is solid. It shows a pattern of lying, bossing people around, and being in control for years. It hurts everyone in this family, and it'll explain why that envelope is so important." Kody looked uneasy in his chair for the first time. Robyn's hands shook a little on the table. The room was so tense he could feel it. Meri smiled just a bit, knowing Christine was making Kody and Robyn look bad, in a way that nothing else could. Christine kept talking, telling about private talks and old arguments, exposing all the games that controlled the family's decisions. Her voice got shaky when she talked about how it hurt their kids, but every word was carefully chosen to show how different they were in public versus in private. Every lie, every secret, every choice made without being open has results, Christine said, looking around the room. She paused on each person for a moment longer than she needed to. "The family we show to the world isn't the family we really are. And today, the truth won't be hidden anymore." She shifted a bit, lowering her voice to a quiet whisper that everyone could hear. "There's one thing in particular that shows how big this lying has been. It's not just about decisions and control, but DNA, proof that goes against the story this family has been telling." Kody's chair made a noise as he moved, and his face was pale. Robyn's eyes widened, and she gripped the table tighter. Meri leaned forward a little, looking calm but excited. Janelle didn't move, but seemed focused on Christine's next words. Christine told the steps she took to keep this proof safe, saving papers, writing down talks, and remembering things that most people would forget. Each thing she said made her testimony stronger, making it hard for Kody or Robyn to argue back without looking guilty or dishonest. Then, after a long, uncomfortable pause, Christine leaned forward and said, "The envelope has DNA evidence. Evidence that will prove the things I've been saying. Evidence that can't be denied or ignored." Everyone in the courtroom gasped, realizing how serious this was. Kody's lips pressed into a line, and he clenched his fists. Robyn swallowed hard, looking scared. Christine's calm strength filled the room, leaving no room for anything else. Christine went on, her voice firm, but full of emotion. She told about the times she confronted Kody and Robyn in private, asking them to be honest, wanting them to be held responsible, and trying to understand things, but they always refused. She explained how they reacted, getting angry, avoiding the issue, and trying to scare her into being quiet. But she didn't give in. You could feel how determined she was to tell the truth in every word. The courtroom was on edge. Even the judge leaned forward, holding his pen still, like he was trying to guess what was coming. Kody shifted again, talking quietly to himself, while Robyn stared at Christine, looking shocked and scared. Meri's eyes stayed on the envelope, the main reason for all the tension, while Janelle quietly watched Christine, realizing how important what she was saying really was. Christine's testimony reached its peak as she told about one last shocking thing, a fight that nobody knew about until now. She explained how hidden decisions hurt the kids, the family, and the emotional results of years of secrets. Her voice cracked a little as she talked about how much the secrets cost them, adding a layer of raw emotion that cut through the tension. Then, slowly and carefully, she finished, "The truth is here. The DNA evidence is the last piece. It will show what has been hidden for so long. It will prove the lies, confirm the manipulations, and lastly, let this family and this courtroom see the truth that has been kept from them all. The judge told the clerk, "Please bring the envelope here." His voice was calm but heavy with anticipation. The clerk moved carefully, like he knew how important this moment was. Kody sat stiff, pale and quiet, while Robyn bit her lip, looking nervously at him. Christine breathed out slowly, her body tense but in control, and Meri smiled just a bit. Janelle's eyes were glued to the envelope, like she was trying to see through it. The envelope was put in front of the judge. The room was silent. Everyone was watching it. Everyone was thinking hard. Every heartbeat sounded like a drum in the stillness. Christine sat back, her testimony done, but the tension was even stronger. If the world outside could see this, they would know that what was about to happen would change everything they thought they knew about the sister wives. Okay, here's a more human-sounding rewrite of the text you provided. The envelope in front of the judge felt like a bomb, small, but able to blow up years of lies. All eyes were glued to it. Kody's hands gripped the table so hard his knuckles were white. Robyn was breathing fast and shallow, like she might fall apart just thinking about what was inside. Christine leaned back a bit, letting her earlier testimony hang in the air. Meri leaned forward, watching the envelope like a hawk. Janelle didn't move, her face blank, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. She was a mess inside. The judge nodded to the clerk. "Open it." The clerk walked up real careful and slowly lifted the flap. You could feel the anticipation. Every little sound was huge. Every breath hung there. It was quiet, except for the paper rustling. The judge pulled out some papers, neat and stacked. The top sheet said, "DNA analysis results." Meri looked over at Kody and gave a tiny, almost hidden smile. The tension in the room tightened like a rope. Kody went pale. Robyn's eyes got huge, and Christine leaned forward, ready for the fallout. Janelle sat straight up, her body tight with nerves. "These results show," the judge said, slow and clear, "that some things don't match up with the story the public's been told about who's related to who." He paused, letting that sink in. Some kids who everyone thought were related one way aren't. Someone gasped. A small sound, but it broke the silence. Kody's eyes got wide, his mouth opened like he wanted to say something, but he didn't. Robyn's hand flew to her mouth, and she grabbed Kody's arm. Christine's lips pressed together, a little smile of "I told you so" on her face. Meri breathed out slowly, enjoying the moment, while Janelle just stared at the judge, stiff with worry. The judge kept reading. "The facts show that at least one child, who everyone thinks has a specific parent. This doesn't change the family bonds, but it does go against what was said in court and to the public." Robyn's face went white as a sheet. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Kody's jaw tightened as he leaned forward, trying to understand. Christine watched, her eyes narrowed, taking in everything. Meri looked calm, almost peaceful, but she was buzzing inside. Janelle leaned forward a little, her hands tight in her lap, thinking about what it all meant. The judge looked at each of them. These results are real. They can't be argued away. And they show a pattern of lies that's been going on for years. The room felt smaller. Even the air felt heavy. Kody sat back, rubbing his head like he was trying to wipe away what he'd just heard. Robyn's tears started falling, and her body shook. Christine let out a little breath of satisfaction. Meri leaned forward, resting her chin on her hands, watching their reactions. Meri stood up, real slow, and walked toward the judge. She was calm and in charge. The courtroom seemed to lean forward, like everyone was waiting for an electric shock. "Your Honor," she said, her voice steady, "these results back up what I've been saying all along. For years, decisions were made in secret. People switched sides, and the truth was hidden from the family and the public. These DNA results are just the latest proof." Kody's hands made fists. Robyn turned away, crying. Christine leaned forward a bit, her eyes shining with satisfaction. Janelle's fingers dug into her palms as she tried to stay calm. The courtroom was frozen, every heart pounding with the news. "It's about the mixed-up relationships and hidden truths that have defined this family for years. Robyn swallowed hard, looking at Kody with fear and desperation. "Kody," she whispered, her voice shaking. "What do we do now?" Kody didn't answer, just stared at the desk. He looked lost, his usual cool gone. Meri watched, letting the tension build. Christine leaned back, watching to see what would happen next. Janelle's hands were clenched, the weight of the moment heavy on her. The judge looked at the family. The court knows this is a rough day. Everyone will get a chance to speak, but the facts are what they are. Meri turned to Kody and Robyn. "The truth is out," she said quietly, almost gently. "It's been there all along, and now everyone can see it, understand it, and deal with it." Kody shook his head a little, still gripping the table. "I don't know what to say." Robyn shook as she leaned on him, looking for comfort, but the truth was right there in front of them. Christine watched, while Meri smiled a tiny, happy smile. The courtroom felt like a storm in a bottle. Every heartbeat echoed. Every breath was loud. But the judge stayed calm, ready to keep things moving. Janelle shifted, her face softening as she thought about what it all meant. "This changes everything," she whispered, not really to anyone, but her words hung in the air. The room became even more tense as Meri stepped closer to Kody and Robyn. "You can deny it, you can argue, you can cry, but the truth won't change," she said. She sounded calm, but every word stung. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. Kody stood up fast, his chair scraping. "This doesn't change who we are," he said, his voice breaking with anger and panic. "We're still a family. Nothing will break us." Robyn nodded, crying, and held onto his arm. "We'll get through this," she whispered, her voice shaking. "We have to stay together." Christine leaned back, shaking her head. "No," she said firmly, "it does change everything. Not who you are, but the fake world you've been living in. The world sees what you've been trying to hide, and the kids, they see it too." Meri stayed calm. "This is the reckoning," she said softly. "Everything hidden is now out in the open, and there's no going back." The judge called the room to order, but everyone was already worked up. Each family member was dealing with the news in their own way. Anger, disbelief, fear, and quiet joy, all mixed together. The DNA had changed everything.